title of my talk is Data Opening, Open Data for Historic Preservation. Originally, this project was called Spanish Civil War, Open Data, okay? And why is that? Well, I don't know how many of you are locals, but we had a civil war in Spain between 1936 and 1939. This is a picture of Barcelona, as you know. And after that, we had a dictatorship that lasted until 1975. That's roughly 43 years ago. Now, the estimated number of casualties is 500,000. And the estimated number of missing people or victims of enforced disappearance is over 100,000. We're the second country in the world in the number of missing people after Cambodia. And again, the estimated number of people who were prosecuted is over 1 million. Prosecuted because of their role in the Spanish Civil War or in Franco's time. So far, access to information about this period has not been a political priority. For some years, it's been on the agenda, but it hasn't been a priority. So we set out to change this. And that's why we set up Innovation and Human Rights as a nonprofit. This is the URL, ihr.world. The world reveals our global inspiration. So what we have done is we have gathered records of people who went either missing or who were prosecuted and as a result executed or not, and also of people who suffered some kind of repression by the Franco's regime. And we set up this, which we call the central database of victims of the Spanish Civil War and Franco's dictatorship. Apart from it being central, we also remarked that our added value is that it's referenced and it's accessible. It's referenced because we don't state any record there. We don't include any record unless there is a document that proves that that person has undergone some kind of repression or penalty. It's also accessible because it's online, and every reference is at one click. There are 28 military archives, but there are many other archives where there are documents that contain information about this period of Spanish history, this, I think, quite recent period of Spanish history. And I'd like to tell you about how we do it, okay? Now, the information usually comes in PDF format, okay, like this one. This is a file from the Archivo General Militar de Guadalajara. It's actually a file about batallones disciplinarios de soldados trabajadores, which are now known as Franco's forced laborers, or Franco's slaves, they're calling them now. People who were forced to work for the Franco regime in very bad conditions very often. So we get the data in PDF, and then we clean it. We have a team of voluntary workers doing this, and we integrate the information on a database thanks to a software built by Guillermo Blasco. Okay. Then we describe every data set in 3 languages, Spanish, Catalan, and English. And this description is meant to help people who find information about their ancestors, their relatives. This is meant to help them find the actual document, okay? So in this case, same data set, we give you an email of the Archivo General Militar de Guadalajara, where they can write, and with the reference, get a digitized file of the record. Apart from describing the data set, we also describe who the author is, We think it's very important to describe who the author is, because the author is always either an archive, or people who work in an archive, or a researcher. There are tons of researchers who've spent many years of their life trying to prove that people were punished in different areas in Spain. And basically the problem is that all this information is scattered in hundreds of archives and thousands of publications. So what we aim at is bringing all this together on our database. We also give you the reference URL, so you can have direct access to the source. In this case, this was, I love this data set. It's very small, but it's about a train that had a surgery unit, and it went from one part of the battlefront to another, and then somebody wrote an article about the people who died on this train. So we send them directly to the source. We link to the source too. We think archives are doing a very important job, and their jobs should be known, and they should be better funded. So why are we doing this? We're doing this to help the victims and their descendants who are now looking for information. We do this to spread the word about archives and their task. And we also do this to contribute to research. Because, for example, if there were people who were born in Galicia and died in Tarragona in the Ebro battle, the Galicians have researched about Galicians, but not about Catalonia or Aragon, and the other way around. If Catalans died in Galicia, we don't, it's all very territorial, and we aim at joining all this information. So far we've reached some agreements, meaning these are our friends, okay? We have agreements to work together, okay? And the word is also spreading about it, okay? We've had some media coverage, but this is a global project, okay? We don't only plan to include data from Spain, but we're also working on data from refugee camps in France and in other places. Exile, lots of people went to Latin America, to other countries, mainly on boats. There is a lot of data sets from prisons that we're trying to get access to. And also, thousands of Spanish people died in Nazi concentration camps, and this is also some information we'd like to access, and we're working on it. So if you're looking for any voluntary work, or if you think of any way you can help, this is also a public request for help, all help is welcome. And come and join the team. Okay, these are all of us working on this. And well, thank you very much. I'd love to hear from you if, whatever. So thank you very much.